Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the video. Today is September 12th, and as I posted earlier, I kind of messed up this morning, very bad. It's another setback, which is something that you don't want to happen on a daily basis, especially when you get the good run for a couple of days, and when it's the days that things are not going right, and then you're taking it responsibly. So this is what happened. The Topstep account is gone. Took one day. I literally just went on tilt, and I mean, those are the hard video to make. Like when things are working, you're like, yeah, win is all this kind of stuff. But then when they are not, you can still got to show up. Still got to do the thing that we need to do. And it's kind of discouraging, but at the same time, it has to be a learning opportunity to learn from those mistakes and then face them. That I was not disciplined. I could have made the decision to stop when it was down at 400. Could have locked the account. Could have gone and do something else, but I did not, and just end up going tilt. So we're just gonna go through the session and pretty much what happened. Today is full of news. We had a lot of economical data that came out with PPI and unemployment claim back to back at 8:30. So that kind of just messed up the flow of everything. Price wasn't really respecting those level of inefficiency or of balances, and it was just coloring out of the line. Like, it was getting to the target, but at the same time, it's a seek and destroy, where you get trapped on one side and then you move on the other side and then you trap on the other side. So impulsivity has been one of the things. And as we're going to go to the video or to the session recap, you will notice some of the things that I could have done better that I did not do. Maybe I was just tired. Maybe I was just not focused. The early losses really does impact the psychology. So as we're going through the chart, as always, starting with the 8:30 session, I was looking at the 7 a.m. The 7 o'clock session prior to 8:30, and I was seeing this level of liquidity, the relative equal lows in between 7 that started, and that was the aim, but the manipulation was a lot. I got caught up on the wrong side and started tilting right then, and then we will see like how 8:30 kind of just deliver right there. It get to the point, but it was choppy. It was just a lot of back and forth. So that was the first entry right up here. I wanted rejection off of the inversion fair value gap here to get to the low before we even get to the news, which did not happen. And it continues running higher, taking out those small buy side here, getting back to the new day opening up. And once I decided to get a second entry here, which the two quota or credit that we're supposed to trade on a daily basis, I already expanded it out here. I hit my daily loss limit, but just did not stop, and was hoping to either get it back, and definitely knows that there's going to be a setup at the end of the session, but just was not patient enough to wait for that to happen. So as you can see right here, I was looking at this volume balance that it traded up into. The core PPI news deliver, it really moved aggressively, get below those lows that I was pointing to at the beginning of the sessions that I wanted, that I got the first entry here. But I shouldn't just have got myself involved there, even if I know what was going to happen in the first place. But I guess overconfident, like of the couple of 3, 4, 5 winning days, has got to me like, oh, I can read price, I can accurately kind of like predict where it's gonna go. But at the same time, when it doesn't go that way, it breaks up my way of looking at things, right? My paradigm kind of like just breaks up. It doesn't go in a sense that, oh, I just got it wrong and that's cool. But it's more like, nah, I should not have got this wrong because I know better, and that is gonna get there. So instead of just stopping, you force. And this is what I did. I forced it. The news came in, as you can see, the first candle right before 8:30 just delivered right there into those sell side. It takes that sell side right away, but it's too close, so I wouldn't even consider that a good idea or good management. Then once that happened, I'm looking at this fair value gap, wanted to get some entry, rise to consolidate here, but after taking the loss, my biases, I didn't have any bias. Today wasn't working, and I just couldn't stop myself. Impulsive. As you can see, I got some good entry, but I just hold them too long. Wanted to return it to that new day opening gap. Again, the notion of time and price was not computing that. Basically threw everything out of the window and was just freestyling it, going in and out. So if you look here, that was the fair value gap that I was pointing to. It was a 5-minute fair value gap. You hold nicely around the consequent encroachment, but just took a while for it to deliver into the sell side that I wanted. And as it was chopping at the beginning of 9, prior to 9:30, I literally just went on tilt right there, because every time it moves, it's gonna move up before it goes down, move up because it goes down. Right here, we had this fair value gap right here at 9:30, trading into it, moved lower, but out of nowhere created this 5-minute, and it returned all the way back to touch the fair value gap again. It never went back to the consequent encroachment of the fair value gap until it delivered. It's just a choppy day. I guess the news, which should be respected, that things are not gonna be as easy as yesterday or those other days where we don't have high impact news. So it didn't turn out well. It delivered on those levels that I wanted, because I know that there were 1 hour fair value gap here. I know that the manipulation that was coming with the news was setting the buy model, which is gonna come in later, but I just couldn't wait. Got into 9:30, which we weren't supposed to trade at 9:30. Have this fair value gap, entered it. I was expecting that delivery above the 342. It just chopped, never got there. The 9:30 ended up closing below that fair value gap, went back into the 1 hour fair value gap, and then at 10, that's where we have the nice good setup, where price literally come back into that first fair value gap after 9:30, and I managed to get 2 more accounts off of those. But those are not things that I want to do on a daily basis. The idea is to be able to do it consistently, and then manage the day where things are not working well, that you stick to the rule, you stick to the discipline, you stick to the value and principle that you put in place, and don't deviate at all. So it's frustrating for me when I make those mistakes and I'm here making those videos like, I messed up, when I know exactly what I was supposed to do. But in the moment, I couldn't hold myself accountable. I couldn't just be as accountable and, hard on myself when it's like, yeah, do the right thing, right? Even if you don't like it, even if it doesn't feel good that you are going to take a loss, face it. It's in place to protect you, not to hurt you. But unfortunately, I did not. I did turn it around. 2 new accounts, which will kind of like give me that peace of mind that I don't have to deal with drawdown. However, it's a negative reinforcement, because in the future, my mind would probably do that when I'm in drawdown. It's like, oh, you can just be aggressive, get a new account, and forget about the other one, which is not the things that we want to do. We want to be consistent, do this consistently, and then use the opportunity and use the skill. Because right now, the only thing that is stopping me in this journey is lack of discipline, lack of accountability when it doesn't feel good, right? When the pain of losing is there and you don't want to just take the loss for the day and then come back tomorrow. And those are things that I definitely need to improve on, right? Because the moment that I don't respect any of those rules I put in place, I go into tilt and I do things that I don't like. I'm just going to go through what should have been the setup for the day that I did not take, or I did not take on the right account. But where I managed to capture it, and it was the setup where I used to get the second funded account, which, as I explained earlier, time and price, lack of higher time frame analysis, and then news. There has been a lot of news manipulation today, but patience is part of it. Sometimes you just got to sit down, wait for the setup to form so that it's be as clear as possible before you even execute on it, which is something that I did not do today. Here on the 5 minutes, like I said, I pointed out that there's a 1 hour fair value gap that we drop into prior to 10. So when 10 happened, we had the shift in market structure right above this short-term high, creating a 5 minute fair value gap. And this was the previous fair value gap that turned into an inversion fair value gap. So we have three support. We have the 1 hour fair value gap, we have the 10 a.m. silver bullet fair value gap, and then we have the inversion fair value gaps that we drop back into at 10:30. We do have a 1 hour, 1 minute fair value gap right here that price drop into, but also will show you guys how choppy it was and how I kind of just managed this one, just holding it out. I like the fact that it respected the consequential encroachment of the 1 minute fair value gap. I like the fact that we're finding support into that fair value gap, and it's a 5 minute close to 10 a.m. macro. So I just holded it nicely. As you can see, it come close to taking me out on that trade, and my position were high because I was on a combine and I'm trading a micro, and I was very confident in that trade, and I don't want to spend too much time on combines. So once I went down into 15 seconds, which is something that I don't usually do, I had to find the support of like why I'm holding the trade, which turned out pretty well. As he got to the target where I wanted it, I closed it out and passed that combine. So now we got 2 new combines off of this trade, which was supposed to just be the trade that I should have taken during the day. A 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. Enter at that fair value gap, put your stop loss here, and aim for the 1-to-2, which is a level that I've been looking for a long time, which is a low of this volume imbalance. As you can see, at this point, this should have just displaced higher, but because of the day, it did not. It did something like that into the fair value gap, and then spent quite a bit of some time to finally decide to move up on that 5 minute. He ended up getting to the low of the daily volume imbalance, and it continued moving higher. But the setup of the day should have been this right here. All of this have just been manipulation due to news. I would just say I'm gonna learn from it. I'll be back here tomorrow. There's no running from this, and we continue. The plan has not changed. The performance definitely did not reflect everything that I said in the last 2 weeks, or part of this journey, because we had a plan in place and things to follow, and that's why we're doing this. That's why, I mean, every day we gotta show up, be accountable, be transparent, and do the thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the day. I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow should be Friday. Hopefully we'll have a better price action. If not, we'll do it again next week.